I am joined for a second instalment of the preview to talk to Matty Jones ahead of this weekend's game against Consett. Matty, another tough game in store for your side.
Yeah, it is. As we said, there's no easy kind of weekends and there's no kind of easy out. So the boys know that each and every week is going to be a tough week, and our run-in up until Christmas is going to show that that we can't rest any kind of weekend, and especially at home as well. We obviously had a good win before the kind of break, and we need to make sure that we can kind of put those performances together at home in front of our friends and family.
Yeah, Consett, of course, have played 8 games, won 1, lost 7. But we saw that with Durham City, the exact same figures. It's going to be another really tough test for your side, and you'll be expecting them to come in the search of a victory. Yeah,
that's right. Well, their one victory came in their last match, and so it could be a thing of what they've been waiting for. And what we kind of said after the Durham game is obviously, unfortunately, losing brings losing kind of mentality, and a winning brings a winning mentality. So they'll be kind of buzzing from that win, and they'll want to kind of progress. So we have to make sure that we're up and we're ready for it. We had a good session last night, and so hope for another good session tomorrow night. We're just talking about preparing the best of what we can do, and that's what we can do. Everything else is kind of out of our hands, so we just need to make sure that we're ready for come Saturday.
100%. I had a look on the RFU website before we came on. Your side score the most points away from home. You then also in the top 5 for least conceded at home. Are you hoping to improve your home form and look to get the crowd behind you a little bit more and score a lot more points?
Yeah, obviously it's probably a little bit different to what we had been kind of previous years. I think like the last kind of like 2 or 3 years kind of going through the season, we pretty much had kind of out of say 12, 13 games, we had probably 8 kind of like bonus point, kind of like 4-point kind of like tries. This year I think we're only sitting at 2, which is obviously it's a little bit of thing that we'll be working on, and we spoke about it Tuesday night, is that we're just not having the composure when we get into opposition's kind of 22, and we're trying to score one off the first phase or trying to throw a miracle ball, and we're not kind of setting it up and trusting our structures. So we're hoping that obviously it's going to come. But yeah, that's all we can obviously ask for as a coach, is that the guys kind of believe in themselves and trust themselves. And as we said, we want to try and perform at home. We want to have that kind of that home kind of crowd buzz is what we kind of have in kind of previous years.
100%. Now, just having a look through, because obviously the team news came out today. You've made a couple of changes, or a couple of players have made way for it. So Joe Nellis, Aaron Thompson and Charlie Cartwright are 1, 2, 3. Then it's Luke Brown, Will Lear, Will Renard moves to 6, Ewan Govier, and then Drew Govier, of course, at 8. Carlos Roberts, Tom Ratcliffe, Tom Makin, Aaron Wilson, Joe Marshall, Harry Dommett and John T. Holloway make up the starting 15. That, of course, could change. Matty will know full well that lineups tend to change at last minute. And then Sam Dawson, who, of course, is coming back from the concussion, Ed Hopper and James Long make up the bench. So Matty's still a very strong team, and, you'll be hoping that come Friday night you won't be making any more changes.
Yeah, well, I've had to make a change tonight. So Joe Marshall has dropped out with something that he kind of couldn't get out of. So Tom Makin will move into the centre. James Long will move onto the wing, and Connor Walt's coming back from injury, so he'll step in on the bench. But it's an exciting team, and what we've kind of spoken to a few of the kind of older heads, we've spoken to like Tom Harrison and Billy Parker, is that we've got a couple of young guys that are kind of hungry, and like the position that we are kind of at the moment, we want to give these guys a bit of a tester of first team rugby. They're playing really good at second team level, and then we want to try and bring them into the structure of first team level and kind of see how they go. As we said, we've got a real kind of strong kind of lead up until Christmas, and we want to see what these guys are kind of made of, and what better way to kind of get them in as a home game with their kind of like their friends and family and their crowd kind of behind them, kind of cheering them on and give them kind of free reign. So they're both kind of great guys. They have both come through the kind of club at junior level, and obviously Tom Macon and James Long, and they're coming back from kind of being away. So fantastic to have them in our first team kind of set up.
Fingers crossed. So the last time you played Consett at Silveroyd, it was Ben Martin, Sam Dawson, Aaron Wilson, Jimmy Perrett, Billy Parker, and yourself on the score sheet as we ran out 49-12 winners. I don't suspect it'll be as easy on Saturday, but you'll still be hoping for more of the same.
No, yeah, well, that was the first year I think that Consett kind of came into the league, so they obviously struggled a little bit that season. But by all accounts, they've kind of got that kind of like that depth back in their kind of squad, and then managed to obviously come up from Northern Durham 1 kind of last year. So those guys coming up, and as I said, on the back of a win, they'll be kind of hunting to probably get a little bit of revenge. And as I said, they're looking for kind of winning ways as well. So yeah, so it's been an exciting encounter, and one that obviously everyone will be looking forward to.
Definitely. And Scarborough Athletic, of course, are not at home. I don't think they have a game on Saturday. So this is an opportunity now for your side to get even more following and even more back. And you'll be hoping for a big crowd on Saturday. Yeah,
definitely. We have a lot of kind of guys who probably follow both. But unfortunately, when we do kind of fall on the same kind of weekends, or we both have the home games, obviously a lot of the lads will all head out to the football. So those guys who do have the opportunity to come up and support us, really enjoy the day and obviously make that kind of huge difference. So we're looking forward to obviously having a really good crowd up there on Saturday. I know there's a few things kind of going on beforehand. So it should be hopefully a great day.
Yeah, and just finally touching on the game that we've just seen. A lot of people won't have been up to Durham to watch that game. Rugby is a funny sport, Matty, and into the last minute, Aaron Wilson's try. It was quite incredible scenes, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It's unfortunately it's probably happening a little bit more frequently than what my heart would kind of want. As I think third or fourth game that we've gone into out of 8 games this season's come down to the last kind of like 3 or 4 minutes. So it's fantastic that the boys are putting that kind of effort in for past that 80 minutes. It's great. And obviously kind of wins like that really kind of boost the side. And away from home, getting 5 points is fantastic and a really kind of strong league. So we can't really ask for much else.
Now, I told you, Matty, that if you were to mention tonight's results, I would not speak to you, but you're smiling, so you must be absolutely delighted with the Kiwis getting through to Sunday T20 World Cup final.
Yeah, mate, it was fantastic. I think it was a massive come from behind win. I thought England obviously played well that kind of like that first, and it looked like a pretty kind of tough pitch. And what everyone said is obviously we lost our 2 kind of best batsmen in Gupton and Williamson in the first kind of 2-3 overs. We don't really kind of have that kind of depth, but I think the way that the lads played and the way the guys kind of like followed through right at the end was absolutely amazing. And obviously it's full credit to our kind of small nation kind of. And what obviously, as they alluded to as well, is I think we've been in kind of like 13 finals or something like that, and up with Australia as one of the most. So that's fantastic, and our first ever kind of T20 World Final too. So it's a huge acknowledgement for our kind of the lads who have obviously kind of doing a little bit tough. It's great.
Yeah, I have to say though the respect between the two nations, it always does seem like if we get one over you or you get one over us, it isn't a case of being bitter. It couldn't happen to a nicer nation, and the respect between the two sides was shown at the end there.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's the first to congratulate and obviously pass on their kind of best wishes straight away. And I think it's a little bit of what our kind of country is based on, and the same as what kind of the English kind of culture is as well. Is obviously you want to win first and foremost, but if you're beaten by a better side on the day, you're first to acknowledge that and you go work on it a little bit harder next time so that you're upright. And I think that's what the lads have probably done from obviously that World Cup final, is they've got the opportunity to kind of like make that kind of right, and obviously they have done today. So it's just the way that sports goes, and that's why we love sport at the end of the day.
Brilliant. Well, Matty, good luck on Saturday, and we'll obviously have a catch-up in the week next week.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you very much. Also just to acknowledge that the boys are obviously kind of doing a bit of a fundraiser for this month as well for kids with cancer. Obviously, we know that Tennant Ingham, one of the lads in one of the junior sections, and Nick's kind of son, Nick and Christina's son, obviously have been struggling with it for the last kind of year or so. So the lads are doing 3,000 push-ups for November. We're 10 days in, but the boys are going to go around with kind of buckets after the game on Saturday. So anyone with obviously a little bit of loose change, or if they can donate anything, that'd be absolutely fantastic for a really kind of great cause, and obviously close to all our kind of hearts.
Do you think a bucket may be left sort of as people come in as well, so that some that don't stay might be able to give money, because it is an incredible charity, and Tiernan being a part of the junior setup at Scarborough, it really hits home, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, mate. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I'm sure we'll probably kind of chuck a bucket kind of somewhere to start off with. I know obviously there's a couple of November kind of things going around as well, which obviously is another kind of a close kind of charity. So obviously there were a couple of buckets kind of going around, and obviously it's tough times, but without these kind of like money we can raise to these kind of charities, they wouldn't be kind of where they are today. So if anyone can kind of give anything, it'd be absolutely amazing. So yeah, obviously we'll be kind of doing a little bit after the game. But yeah, so thanks obviously in advance for anyone who's going to kind of help out with that.
I'll reiterate what you said there, Matty. Any change would be greatly appreciated, and no matter how big or small, it all goes to the cause.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And as I said, it's absolutely fantastic. And with our kind of club and with our kind of support base, it's amazing that we always kind of get behind everything and everyone. So when kind of things like this do roll around, the club really kind of gather together. So we're obviously, as I said, we're thankful for anyone who's going to help out.